Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Chris, and today I wanted to show some of the things that one of my friends, Cash and Coins, talked about. Was pretty interesting. He talked about what would be the popular coins if the U.S. Silver Eagle wasn't in circulation. What would be the competitors? And so it got me thinking, looking at some of the things that he mentioned. Of course, there were the usual, the usual suspects: Canadian Maple, the Britannia, the Libertad, but also things like the Philharmonic, other coins, and it just really got me thinking, like, if I look at my own stack, there's a lot there as far as the variety of bullion coins, even the same coin, but different iterations. For example, obviously this is a newer Britannia. Let's see, you can see that. It's a nice looking coin. When I first purchased these Britannias, the Queen, not so exciting. When I first purchased these Britannias, I wasn't really sold on it because when you look at the coin itself, it's a pretty small coin. It doesn't necessarily, again, it's an ounce, so take that with a grain of salt. But it just doesn't feel like it has the heft of the Maple or the Eagle. So like, again, and it could be this raised edge or the I guess they're both serrated on the sides, but the raised edge, I feel like it gives something to the Maple that the Britannia doesn't have. That being said, again, I always talk about this. Whenever you pull out these coins and you actually put them in your hand and hold them and kind of just see what they evoke from you, you're reminded. Now that I pulled this one back out, I actually do kind of like it now. I think it's starting to grow on me. Whereas originally my intent was to say that the Maple, again, there's some milk spotting on this particular Maple, but the Maple just feels like such a quality coin to me. Every time I look at it, the new ones have all the security features. This one, again, with the milk spots, so there is that issue, but the newer ones, I think they solved that problem. If you watch my other videos, I actually do have some of the original Maples in the original packaging that they came in, and it has like a little Royal Canadian Mint emblem on the side. Let me see if I can find those anywhere. Give me just a sec over here. But it reminded me that, hey, these coins, as you accumulate them, you kind of forget what you were thinking when you purchased them. And so over time, you start to, accumulate more and more and more, especially if you have what I like to think of as somewhat of a messy stack like I do, as far as the different versions of coins and things like that. If you don't pull them out regularly, you start to remember, hey, this one or that one, maybe I do like it more than I originally thought. Anyway, that's not handy at the moment. So, but seeing the Maple in those original things really brought up some nostalgia from me. It made me feel like, hey, that's pretty cool. And I'm sure there's a market for those because I've never seen them. I didn't even know what they were. The original casing that they had on them, so it's just like a plastic wrap that they had on them. But the fact that it has the little RCM on it, and they're old. Some of them are like from the 90s, and then some of them are from the 80s, I believe. So pretty interesting. But as someone who intended on saying, hey, the Maple is such a great coin, and then I go pick up the Britannia and I like it. I don't know if you've seen this. This is the older Britannia. Still a nice looking coin. It does have like a nice look to it, nice design. Obviously, this is, someone's used this one, so it's not what it was. But when you take the time to look at the different iterations over time, it's pretty interesting. Again, also, if you've been watching my videos recently, I did pick up these Libertads, and these were the first ones added to my stack, and now I'm like a huge fan. I'm a sucker for this design on the back. It really does remind me of like the Royal Canadian Mint, the detail on the designs, or the Queen's Beast series. Reminds me of like the level of workmanship Pretty interesting, but I do like it. So something to think about, like I said, like is the price is going to be different if you're purchasing something like Libertads, especially right now because, you know, everybody's into Libertads, versus buying something like the Britannias or even these guys. These guys, I feel like they get overlooked a lot. And one of the things that Cash and Coins mentioned is that apparently the Philharmonic is the most minted, I believe he said, in Europe. So it's the most minted bullion coin from Europe. I don't think he said it's the most popular per se. I think he did say that that was the Britannia, but the most minted is the Philharmonic. And these ones you can pick up at a pretty good price. These ones, I like the design. They look nice. I would like the gold one better, but I do like the design on these. It's pretty intricate, but the non-rated edge, and then also like this one, again, same thing as with the newer Britannia. It just doesn't have it doesn't have a heft to it. Like, I don't know, again, an ounce is an ounce, right? So it should feel the same, but you don't really feel it. Then there's these guys, which were really popular. This one, it's just the coin holder, I think, the airtight. Yeah, so the shine on there is pretty good. But these guys, you know, you forget all these things when you have all these different coins. But I forgot that the pandas are only 30 grams, not a full ounce. So that's definitely a knock on the panda. But I remember people were really into these kind of things, right? People were like all gaga for them a few years ago. So I don't understand. But even looking at, you know, the eagles. So like the eagle, if you know, like if you've been watching the channel for a while, I never was the biggest fan of the eagle. Like, I like it and I respect the fact that it's pretty much the gold standard as far as stacking for people. These ones, I remember I picked these up during 2020 because I was like, yeah, that's going to be a year to remember. And then also with the changes, the last year of the design. So I have a few of these, so don't worry. Oh, he's handling his bullion coin. It's a bullion coin. But it's a nice design. And I do feel like, you know, the more that I look at it, the more it does grow on you. I do like the crest on the back with the eagle. I feel like it's a pretty good looking coin. I feel like it really demonstrates a lot of like the national pride kind of thing. So that does make me happy about the eagle. But even that being said, I don't feel like with the prices the way they were, although they've somewhat come back to earth, you know, the value just wasn't there for me for a long time. So even though I had, you know, I think I had 200 of these in the Atmex tubes, the sealed Atmex tubes in the 20s, but I got rid of a good amount of them because I was like, hey, if they're going to pay for them, I might as well transition that into other things. So I did end up moving them. One thing I will say is that one thing that got me back into liking the Eagles was looking at the proofs. Yes, I waste all kinds of money on proofs. I know it's not the greatest thing ever because the premiums on them are stupid. And when you look at a lot of them, they're not really worth it. But one, I will say, the mirror finish on the Eagles is really gorgeous. I mean, honestly, like, you could display these Eagles with their mirror finish. They're that pretty to look at. So I don't regret paying a little bit more for the Eagle. And honestly, the proof is what actually got me to respect the Eagle a little bit more as something to look at in your stack. But I mean, even when you look at the maples, like when you look at these guys and you see, like, again, just the level of workmanship that goes into them, the detail, and I'm sure there's security features and this and that. Of course, it's got the little privy in there. You know, these are pretty nice. I was watching Ragtag Stacking. He was talking about earlier that that he didn't have the Bigfoot privy. So I in one of my other videos, I did show that I did end up getting a Bigfoot privy just randomly from the coin shop. I just saw the proof and I was like, give me the proof. So pretty interesting. But the point of this is that there's so many different things that, as far as like a general bullion coin, all of them right now have a pretty good markup on them, whether it's the maple or the eagle. The Philharmonic, I would say generally, in my opinion, tends to be the one that's the most cost effective. But again, like when you actually receive the Philharmonics, it leaves something to be desired for sure. Same thing, like when I first started my stack, I was really big on the bars. I love the idea of like opening my safe and seeing like a stack of bars right there. Oh, that's, you know, gold bars or silver bars. That's pretty awesome. And I still really appreciate the bars. I don't know what it is. This is like a poured Monarch Metals bar or Monarch Precious Metals bar. I don't think they make these anymore. I'm not sure. And then this is like an ingot, I believe. No, this is an ounce. Yeah, but it's a nice little tiny bar, but pretty interesting versus like the more generic. I wish this was the actual Geiger bar instead of the Atmex bar. But as I've mentioned many times, I'm a huge sucker for the Royal Canadian Mint 10-ounce bars. Those are just like, if I could have multiple safes just filled with Royal Canadian Mint bars, I'd be a pretty happy stalker. And I would give up things like, you know, things like this guy, the Engelhard bars or the Johnson Matthey, for, you know, just generic Royal Canadian Mint bars. It's crazy. Not obviously one-to-one, but, you know, I'd be willing to get rid of it. So I just thought it was very interesting that, you know, Cash and Coins was talking about the benefits of knowing the other coins. Like I said, like I had forgotten that the pandas weren't even a full ounce. And then these ones, when I bought them, there was definitely a markup on them because, you know, I guess there's still that collector market that collect the pandas. And then, of course, Cash and Coins had that Kookaburra. This isn't the one, but he had a similar one on one of his videos, and I was just like, that just makes me want to buy more Kookaburras. Every time I see these, I'm just like, oh man, more of my money is going to Perth or any of those mints to get the nicer stuff. But when I look at my stock, like I said, like I just see that over time, the somewhat distracted nature of my purchases. But even so, even with that being said, like I definitely don't regret purchasing anything at this point. I have overpaid at times, like for these guys over here, just to have little pieces of the ones that aren't made anymore. This one, the 1 ounce version of this guy over here. But again, with these bullion coins, I think, you know, as Cash and Coins mentioned, there's a lot of good ways to go. The only ones that I really would say I would maybe not go straight for would be the Philharmonics or honestly the Eagle. Even though it's the you know, the bread and butter, I just don't feel like it's worth the money at this point. I think there'll be a time where it's, you know, where the value's there again, but just not right now. This one over here, again, I don't know why, but I always forget to look up what this is. And I saw a few more of them at the coin shop the last time I went there. But I'm just wondering myself if this is like an actual government minted bullion piece, or if this is like one of those rounds that someone put out. So I'm not sure. I don't know why I keep forgetting to look it up, but I am going to look up what this is and see if this is the precursor to something like the Eagle, or if this is just one of those random one-offs. But anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully I purchase some more gold or platinum in the near future. Pretty excited. I hope the markets continue to do well. Either direction, volatility is good if you're a trader. It doesn't matter which way, as long as you're lucky enough to take advantage. But that being said, I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you at some point during the weekend. Take care.